Hi, my name's John Finn from Pre-Shot Golf, and this is the second video we're making in partnership with Golfshake. This lesson's about decision making. We're going to think about how you can make better decisions on the golf course and stop your impulsive monkey brain from tripping you up and costing you shots. So what does decision making look like on the golf course? Well, there's a great example from Rory McIlroy just before he won the 2014 British Open, where on the 18th hole he stood back and recognised that maybe hitting his driver wasn't the best decision in that moment. So he ended up taking a 2-iron, which was a much more sensible and safe shot, bearing in mind the outcome that he needed to get. He didn't need to birdie the hole, he didn't need to par it, he had a good number of shots in hand. And we always have to think that what our brain wants is a fast reward. Our brain pursues dopamine, and this makes your brain very, very impulsive. There's no better feeling in the world than nailing a driver down the middle of the fairway, but it's not always the best decision. An example of poor decision making in golf is from Jean van der Velde at the 1999 British Open at Carnoustie. He made a series of really bad decisions which ended up him losing and throwing away the British Open title. We have to be constantly aware that our brain is impulsive and it wants fast rewards. And that's a classic example from Jean van der Velde of letting his monkey brain take over the decision-making process. Although this might not happen to you all of the time on the golf course, I guarantee that it does cost you shots. But the good news is, if you're aware that poor decision-making can cost you shots, and you have a system and a plan to get round it, you can make better decisions and shoot lower scores on the golf course. So what neuroscience tells us about defeating our limbic system, our monkey brain, is that although we can physically overpower it with our prefrontal cortex, we can outplan it. So you can use the prefrontal cortical areas of your brain to outplan your limbic system, what we call the monkey brain. So what does that look like in decision-making terms? Well, it means that first of all, you need to be aware that your monkey brain's impulsive and it wants to hit that great, driver down the fairway or hit another great shot from the fairway into the green. But you have to stand back from this on the golf course and think, what's my objective here? Your objective isn't always to get a birdie on every hole, because you might have 2 shots on that hole depending on your handicap. So you have to stand back from the situation and think, what's the best decision for me right now to achieve the outcome that I'm trying to get on this particular hole, this particular round? At Pre-Shot Golf, we have something called the presence of mind decision making model, and this has been developed to help golfers to think more effectively on the golf course. Just to give you a simple insight into the model, the first question that we're asking golfers to think about is, what options do I have here? There might be a very obvious option, which might be the driver on the first tee, but what other options do I have? And we want our golfers to think about maybe 2 or 3 options that they have. Once you've understood the options, the second question you need to ask yourself is, which option will give me the best chance of achieving my goal? So the driver might be the club in the bag, which gets you furthest down the fairway, but if you're not hitting the driver particularly well that day and you're pushing it right often and there's danger on the right, there's a likelihood that that club isn't going to help you to achieve your goal on that particular hole. A 5-iron might not get you anywhere near as much distance as the driver, but it will give you a much better opportunity potentially of hitting the second shot where you might want to hit it. So you've got to step back from the situation and ask yourself these simple questions to give yourself a better chance of making better decisions on the golf course. If you want to find out more about our presence of mind decision making model, check out our new series of Pre-Shot Golf ebooks, which are available on Amazon. You can also download a free taster book on our website, which is www.pre-shot.co.uk. So that's decision making. To shoot lower scores on the golf course, you need to get into the habit of making better decisions, and you need to find a place in your pre-shot routine where you consistently make reflective decisions on the outcome that you want to achieve with any one particular shot. If you start to build good decision making habits into your golf, you will shoot lower scores.